The airport did not ruin your physique. It revealed your system had no passport. If your standard disappears at departures, it was never a standard. It was a local habit. This is Iron Suits, where strength wears a crown. I am Marwan Kilu. Just to be clear, this is not an episode about airport food. It's not about what to order in the lounge, how to train with resistance bands in a hotel room, or how to survive business travel without gaining weight. That is surface level advice from men still looking for tactics to cover weak standards. This episode is about something colder: the travel exemption. The private belief that once a calendar changes, the standard gets suspended. And if that already annoys you, good. Because if your first instinct is to explain why your travel week is different, this episode is probably for you. And I'm going to say he in this episode for a reason, because distance is a scalpel. It lets a man watch a pattern before his ego starts defending it. But if the word he starts sounding too familiar, don't find the pronoun. That's usually the moment the episode has found the right man. And if you click this episode hoping for airport food hacks, hotel gym substitutions, or the perfect business travel routine, this is not that. Because the issue is not that you don't know what to eat in an airport. The issue is that the moment life stops arranging itself around your routine, your standard starts negotiating. And once again, if that irritates you, good, because this episode is closer to the truth than you wanted it to be. Business class lounge or the executive lounge or whatever the airport offers a man of his level. The environment that is slightly removed from the general population, slightly quieter, slightly better stocked. The environment that his success has made available to him and that he uses without remarking on it because it has been normal for long enough that it no longer registers as a reward. Laptop open, coffee in front of him, a calendar showing the next 48 hours, the way his calendar always shows the next 48 hours. Full, sequenced, the kind of density that can only be managed by a man who has learned to move through schedules the way other people move through traffic, by knowing the system. He has been in the lounge for 20 minutes. The flight is boarding in an hour, or it is delayed by 40 minutes. Or it is on time, but the morning started early and the day is long, and the back-to-back structure of a heavy travel week is already doing what back-to-back structures do to the margins of a man's day. He was in the lounge for 20 minutes before he decided today didn't count. Not formally, not as an announcement he made to himself, just a quiet, familiar settling of a man who has classified the day as transit. And transit is different jurisdiction from the normal day. And different jurisdictions have different rules. And today's rules do not include the standard that yesterday's rules included. He did not decide to skip training. He decided it was a travel day. The training followed from that automatically. The food decisions followed from that. The quality of the morning, the structure of the hotel arrival later, the room service decision at 11 o'clock tonight because the client dinner ran long and the hotel gym is closed and he has a call at 7 in the morning. So the body has been in transit since 5:15 a.m. All of that followed from the travel day classification, which happened in the first 20 minutes of the lounge before anything else had started. He was in the lounge for 20 minutes before he decided the day didn't count. Now, the scaffolding. He has a system at home, not the furniture. This is a different observation, a different mechanism, although the result is familiar. He has a system at home that produces the outputs he describes as his standard. The training, the food, the morning structure, the discipline he would claim if someone asked him whether he takes care of himself. The scaffolding of that system is the home environment. The home gym or the gym that is 15 minutes away on a route he knows well enough to run on autopilot. A kitchen stocked the way it is stocked because he or someone in his household ensures it is stocked correctly. The morning alarm in the familiar room that has been at that time long enough that the body knows what 6:30 means. A commute that creates pressure. The meeting at 9 a.m. that makes a 6:30 alarm non-negotiable. The deadline that makes a morning session the only window and therefore the obvious window. None of that is his standard. All of that is scaffolding. A scaffolding holds the behavior in place. The behavior produces the results. He observes the results and concludes he has a standard. Travel removes the scaffolding. And when the scaffolding comes down, what remains is either the standard or the absence of one. The flight did not break the standard. The standard was never cleared for travel. The hotel. He arrives late. Late enough that the option of doing anything useful tonight has been closed by the schedule. He is in the hotel room. The gym is somewhere in the building. He looked it up on the website before booking. He noted it with the specific intention of a man who is trying to be the kind of man who uses hotel gyms. He does not use a hotel gym tonight. Reasonable. It is late. The client dinner ran until 10. The call is at 7. He needs sleep. These are genuine reasons, and any one of them alone would be a legitimate reason on a specific occasion. But a specific occasion repeats. The same hotel gym situation that produces the same late arrival conclusion, that produces the same 7 a.m. call, that produces the same this trip was just too dense assessment, that produces the same I will get back on track when I'm home sentence that has been produced after every trip for the last 12 months. I'll get back on track when I'm home. Let me say that sentence back to him. I'll get back on track when I am home. When I am home. The track is at home. He just said it. Here is the business contrast. Because this is a man who runs things remotely, who manages complexity across multiple locations simultaneously, whose business does not pause when he is in transit, does not wait for him to return home to resume functioning, does not classify travel days as days that don't count. The business travels. He built it to travel. He built processes that function across time zones, teams that operate without his physical presence in any given room, systems that run whether he is in London or Singapore or a hotel room in Frankfurt at 11 p.m. after a client dinner. He understood early that a business not only works when the founder is present, is not a business, it is dependency. And he built the business out of that dependency because that was what building it required. He built a business that moves across time zones and a body system that needs his zip codes. He applied one standard to the operation of the business and a different standard to the operation of himself. The business. The standard must be portable. It must function under load, in unfamiliar environments, without the optimal conditions, because the optimal conditions are a luxury and real operations are run in real conditions. The standard requires the home gym and the normal kitchen and the familiar alarm and the commute that creates pressure and the zip code that holds all of it in place. His calendar traveled. His standard stayed home. The hotel gym. He knows it is there. He identified it during the booking process with the intention of a man who plans to use it. He walked past it on the way to his room, or he saw it on the app, or the concierge mentioned it, or the email confirmation flagged it in the hotel amenities section. Either way, he knows it is available. He has decided it is not adequate. Not based on inspection, based on category. Hotel gyms are a category of equipment that does not qualify for the standard he maintains at home. Too limited, wrong machines, no squat rack, probably. Mirrors that reflect inadequacy in both directions. The smell of institutional carpets and the vague presence of whoever used the treadmill before him. He made the assessment before he found the gym. The hotel gym is not there to be perfect. It is there to reveal whether the standard requires perfection. It does, apparently. A hotel gym does not need to be optimal. It only needs to be good enough to do something. And something is the bar. Not a specific something, just something. The minimum that keeps the system going, the minimum that keeps the system moving. The maintenance of a direction rather than a complete reversal of one. Something is achievable in almost every hotel gym that has ever existed. But something requires a standard to have survived the airport. His didn't. Travel exemption. This is a specific belief that the episode is about. Not airport food, not the airport lounge options, not the room service menu, not the hotel gym. The belief that travel is a valid jurisdiction in which the standard is suspended. The belief that because the environment is harder, the standard can wait. But the whole point of a standard, the reason the word standard is used rather than preference or habit or tendency, is that it survives hostile environments. A preference survives good conditions. A habit survives familiar conditions. A standard survives the hostile ones. He has a preference. He has been calling it a standard. And the airports, the lounge, the delay, the transit classification, the hotel room at 11 p.m. The airport is not the problem. The airport is the audit. It is the environment that removes the scaffolding and asks, what is left? What was left was the classification of the day as a travel day. What was left was the lounge food decisions made 20 minutes in. What was left was the hotel gym assessment made before inspection. What was left was when I am home. I'll get back on track when I'm home is how a man admits that track does not travel. The track is at home. His home, his zip code, his gym and his kitchen and his alarm and the commute that creates pressure and the familiar morning that requires no decision because the decision has been made by the environment around him. He does not have a standard that travels. He has a home court advantage that he has been calling a standard. And his life, the life he built, the career that requires his physical presence in multiple cities, the operations that need him in rooms across time zones, the schedule that means some months he is home for less than half of it. His life does not take place on the home court. His life is away. His standard is home. That is not a scheduling conflict. That is a system that was never designed for the life it was supposed to support. The airport did not ruin him. The airport held up a mirror in the specific way that departure gates hold up mirrors. By removing everything familiar and asking what the man does when the familiar is gone. He classified the day. The standard did not survive the classification, which means the standard was always conditional on conditions it cannot guarantee. A standard that only works at home is not a standard. It is location-dependent behavior. The airport did not do this to him. It just revealed it. The airport did not ruin him. It removed the props, the kitchen, the gym, the route, the alarm, the familiar pressure, the conditions that made him feel like he had a standard. And when those conditions disappeared, so did the man. That is the part most successful men don't want to look at. Because business travel sounds like a reason. But sometimes A reason is just an exemption with better luggage. So no, the airport did not make him soft. The lounge did not make him lose discipline. The hotel gym did not fail him. The flight didn't ruin his physique. It all just revealed the truth. His business was built to operate anywhere. His body still needs home to behave. And a man who can run companies across time zones should not need his own zip code to keep a promise to himself. This is Iron Suits, where strength wears a crown. I am Marwan Kilu. If this landed, send it to a leader whose calendar travels better than his standards. And remember this: business class doesn't expose status. It exposes systems. If your body only works under your own roof, you don't own a standard. You rent one.